On October 31st, 2000, an intermodal train was making its way through Arizona. It had 3 engines on the head end, all Dash 944 CWs. They were 4499 and 4729, both in Heritage 2, and 1101, which was in Heritage 1. Behind them were multiple intermodal and piggyback cars. As they were making their way, they started talking to another train. And they got their location and thought, yes, they were in the clear. And so they started accelerating. And now they had a clear path, according to the crew of 4499. However, this was not true, as a Z train was in front of them and had made a halt right after a blind curve. However, 4499 did not know this, and so they were speeding towards them. In a heavily forested area, they started making a blind curve. However, as they rounded the last part of the curve, they noticed the back end of an intermodal car. They realized what has happened. They have just been in a collision course with another train. They hit the brakes, hoping for the best and hoping that they would not have a severe accident. However, they've already went too far. And the train comes into view, getting closer and closer. They pray that the train will stop, but the train does not stop. There's just way too much momentum and too little time and too little distance. And then it happens. BNSF 4499 rear-ends the Z train, causing major damage to all 3 locomotives and the intermodals behind it. 4499 suffers the worst of it. Only the cab is left on top of the frame. The entire rest of the long hood is gone. 4729 was damaged to an unknown extent because the images show not much, while 1101 has its entire middle section ripped off from the impact, and it has severe burn damages. Surprisingly, 1101 and 4729 were repaired and put back into service with BNSF. 4729 would later become the iconic Frankenbonnet, and 1101 was the only Dash 9 that was originally Heritage 1 to be repainted into a Heritage 2. Sadly, 4499 was damaged beyond repair and scrapped. It was burned beyond repair. Along with 4499 was 1 crew member who was killed on impact. 1 was injured seriously and another 2 suffered moderate injuries. Now the question is, why did this happen? Why did this train rear-end the other intermodal? Well, it was revealed that 4499 was communicating with another train ahead of the Z train. It thought that the Z train that it impacted was further down and was not in their way. Also, the impact zone was very forested and weather was dark and could have played a part in the distance when 4499's crew saw the end of the intermodal. By the time they did see the intermodal, it was too late to stop, and they hit the rear end. So 4499 was communicating with the train ahead of the Z train. However, the Z train did not chime in to reveal their location, and so since 4499 did not know their location, they did not know that it was right ahead of them. And they did not know that a Z train was in between them and the train they were communicating. Thus, them accelerating and when they were accelerating, that's when they spotted the train. and they were not expecting it, and so they just hit the brakes, but all hope was lost.